Let's jump into the demo. Yeah. Um, First of all, we're putting Noise AI head to head with ElevenLabs, and a little callback to our episode on ChatGPT Images 2.0. I said, please create a like head to head battle graphic of Noise AI and ElevenLabs, and look what it gave me. Pretty serious though, not really like my vibe or energy. So then I thought, you know what? Let's have a little fun with it. Let's introduce a little humor. That's all I said. I didn't even give it any direction. And boom, it had more fun. It turned their logos into boxers. It pulled, like honestly, it pulled their messaging points and their positioning, and threw it into the graphics. ElevenLabs talks about how they're better at pronunciation. It's just really neat to see the way what we were talking on a past episode. It's just still kind of blowing my mind.
The one thing that stuck out to me, I love like the weird stuff like that, the strange artifacts that end up in AI images. What's the significance of the coffee mug? That seems like not just terribly natural boxing prop. You have any idea?
You know what? That's like a really good point. And I hadn't really thought about that. Not to mention, like Noise got the cool 8-bit glasses. Like, definitely like a cooler, hipper vibe. Whereas maybe ElevenLabs is like this is for your, this is voice cloning for your grandparents or for your mom and dad.
They are like
the more corporate vibe.
Yes,
yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was drawing something like that, drawing from something like that. But I mean, I definitely would take the 8-bit glasses over the coffee mug personally. And talk about like relics that still exist. Like look at the handle on that coffee mug. It's like double handled, I think. Anyway,
love it.
I think we talked about it on that episode too. Always check the work that it gives you. So let's dive in. Enough me wasting time here. We're going to start in Noise AI. So when I jump into the account, it drops you on the text to speech, but I'm going to go in the left sidebar over here to voice clone. And you have two options. Both are pretty efficient and quick. If you have an audio sample of your voice, you can just upload that file here. It can be a video, it can be an MP3, like WAV file, but you can also record audio, and it'll even give you like a little script to read. So I actually did this one earlier, but you would literally click start recording. You read through. I put my phone in airplane mode, but it didn't fly. I feel like this technology is very misleading. As you can tell, Noise tries to be a little bit funnier maybe than some products, but I put my phone in airplane mode, but it didn't fly. I feel like this technology is very misleading. Boom. Easy recording. That's all it needed. You can feed it more if you want to, but you can also just kind of jump right ahead. So I did that, pulling it out of the oven here. It's actually now already produced a voice for me. I'm going to skip ahead, just like waiting on that. And now I'm in the standard text to speech tool. This is their bread and butter. I've given it a script. Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the Noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. So that was me saying it, human Jesse. And I've generated a version of it. So let's listen to it real quick.
Is it playing? Is it supposed to be playing right now?
Oh, are you not hearing it?
I'm not hearing it.
Oh no, that's really going to throw this off. Let me see if I need to adjust some settings here.
This is so cool though, like how simple it is. Because I think I have not used voice cloning a ton myself. I've used AI voices for projects before, but never really voice cloning. And I think one of the big things that's been keeping me away is like, I don't want to have to spend a ton of time training this thing. Because I know like from many of the text-based and graphical things that we've built ourselves, the more you train the thing, the better it sounds, like dramatically better. But it takes a little time for you to get it where you want it to be. So the voice side of things, I'm like, I don't want to sit there talking to my computer for 4 hours just to get it sounding roughly like me. But seeing this, and like, if it gets you something pretty darn close, that's really easy.
It's frighteningly easy, maybe.
Yeah.
And thankfully there are disclaimers on both about, having permission to use the voice. I actually just saw on the news this morning, Taylor Swift was registering a trademark on her voice
Hmm.
um, to help try to protect it against, because apparently her voice is one of the most cloned voices using tools. So obviously, use responsibly.
Yeah.
As with all AI, I would say, use it ethically and responsibly. But for the right purposes, pretty incredible. Did you hear the sample that I recorded on this one?
Yes.
I put my phone in
Oh,
airplane mode, but that one? Okay, so let's just
yeah.
keep going from here. We'll just build through live. I was trying to kind of like pull it out of the oven fully baked and show you the output without sitting through it, but for some reason that other tab doesn't want to cooperate. So it has produced a preview. So let's listen to that. Come on. Welcome back, friend. It's always a joy to share these heartfelt conversations with you. Let's dive into today's topic. I mean, it sounds like me. I don't know if like the cadence is perfect.
But man, from one sentence,
From one sentence,
that's
that's
wild.
where this has come. I remember years ago, we're talking 7-8 years ago, there was a product that I'm probably gonna misremember the name. It was something like Little Bird. And it was a voice cloning tool. But you had to read like 45 minutes of copy
Yeah.
for it to like then take hours to train on and produce like not quite the right result. You know what I mean? To think that I just read that for, I read a single sentence and then, I mean, you're seeing it in real time because we're having those tab issues, but it produced something like that. So anyway, this is going to be the tech reviewer, John. It has pre-selected middle age. Thank you so much, Noise. I'll try not to take that personally, but probably accurate. And we're just going to save that voice. And again, I'm agreeing to their, again, use ethically and responsibly. Obviously, there are all kinds of uses that do not fall within that. And then immediately I can use this voice. So now we're back in the text to speech and we're going to try this again. I'm pasting in that same script that we're going to use on both of these. And we're going to click speak it. I'm not going to change any of these settings over here just yet. You can add some effects. They have different models. They have a V3 that just came out, and I'll show you that in a second, but I honestly wasn't as impressed with it. I think maybe it was more human-like. So if you're creating a voice, it might be a better model to use, and we'll show you that. But this one was more accurate to who I was, I felt. So we'll speak it. And while that's generating, welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. Am I that nasally?
No, you're not. You're not.
All right, phew. But I mean, I hear myself in it, right? You can add some effects, some, kind of silly phone call, vintage radio, Pro Studio to kind of give it a little bit better refinement. You have limited control over the output and noise. That was one of the first things that stood out to me. I thought, and we'll compare head to head in a second. But for me, I was impressed the way it cloned, but I could really only change the pace. There's not a lot, there's not much else that I can really do to it. So I don't know, but welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today.
The one thing that I like about it, though, is, and I think this is one of the big things with the voice cloning tools recently and just the AI voice tools, is when you get to the end of a sentence as a human, frequently you start running out of breath and you can feel it in those words. And you hear it here. Like in that sample,
the total quality's come down.
Yeah.
They used to sound like you're stopping mid sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Another really cool feature that I thought was kind of cool here is you can apply smart emotion, where it's going to read the script and apply certain emotion to portions of it as it understands it. And actually, I'll try that. But you can also, happy, sure, yeah, I'm happy, and it's going to reflect that when it regenerates here. Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. I might have called that manic, not happy.
Tone it down a step, Noise AI.
But you can also set your own. So they have all of these direction, emotion directions that you can add to it. Where I can
Oh, what's
say,
angry? How would
Mhm.
you angrily introduce this?
I'm like afraid to find out.
Probably can't.
Nasally and angry. Welcome to the Shift AI show. The only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. This is Headbangers Ball, people.
That's the one. That
Okay,
is the
we're
one to
opening the
use.
show that way on Friday, so y'all better come back on Friday. We're going full rage apparently for that episode. But anyway, but it does, and you can do that in different spots. So like, what if I put a completely different, and I really haven't tried it this way, but like, see how well it shifts emotion or, or quality, mid read. Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. Anyway, we could get lost in that, but there are some practical uses there because you can, in a longer script, you can apply different emotions that maybe help guide it to a better, more realistic output. Nothing can betray AI to me, kind of like um, either being emotionless or just kind of the completely wrong tone for the
Yeah.
content that's being read. Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it reinforces like something every single demo we've given is
mhm.
that it is never one shot, like gotten exactly what we wanted on the first try so far.
Yeah.
And that's like we talked about this a long time ago. You can view that as a bug, as like, oh well, I guess AI isn't there, it's not worth doing, or you can view it as just part of the process. Like you're probably not going to get exactly what you want the first time, but you've got your starting point, and your
Mhm.
next act shouldn't be to give up. It should be to tweak and guide. Like I love you use the word like giving guidance.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're really doing when you want to get something useful and usable out of AI.
Well, and to me, like that's where AI has advanced the most. It used to be like, how do we? I mean, I think it's both still, but like, I think the mindset used to be, how do we produce the usable result in a single shot? Um, and sure, that would be great, but I think its ability to retain and iterate version
Mm-hmm.
after version, to me, that's even bigger of an advancement because it allows us to stay in the process and not just go, well, that's what I got. That's what, I guess I'll have to use that. So those kind of human to AI interactions in the process to me, where we can provide that feedback, um, that's to me where the power is, especially when it comes to things like this, where you can insert kind of emotion and direction. All right, so that's noise. Let's jump over to ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs is probably the leader in voice AI voiceover, um, in the AI voiceover space. In ElevenLabs here, I'm going to go to voices, and then I can click over here on the right, create voice. Now they have a few options too. Again, this doesn't have to be about cloning your voice for you. You can create a unique voice that is yours. Um, they have a professional option that takes a little bit longer, produces a little bit better output. But for the sake of head to head, we used like the fast noise AI. So we're going to do with the instant voice clone for ElevenLabs as well. Again, you can click to upload a voice sample, or you can record audio. So I'm going to record again. Um, I'm not, I don't, I put my phone, oh wait, hold on. I put my phone in airplane mode, uh, but it didn't fly. I think this technology is really misleading. I think that's what I recorded. We'll see what it
Nailed
did.
it.
Yeah, it's going to really pick up on my hesitations there. So again, give it a simple recording. You can obviously read. I think it goes up to 30 seconds, and like with anything, the more you give it, probably the better result you're going to get. And you can redo that if you need to. So let's see. Old British man was the example. I want to say that that's just their default text and not what it picked up from me. But I'm slightly less offended by 11 Labs than I was by Noise. Let's save this voice and let's get right into it. So we'll go to the voice to text. My script is already in there. I've selected my voice. Now, again, they have multiple models. We're using their multilingual V2. And actually, I want to call that out because the fact that they have a multilingual, and I believe Noise did as well, that's another great practical application of this. I don't speak Portuguese, but I could localize my content into Portuguese and reach a huge portion of the world, or Spanish, or whatever it might be. The ability to localize content, and that's more about voice creation than it is voice cloning per se, but just an incredible unlock that otherwise would have been time and money consuming.
Yeah.
And you'll notice I have a little bit more control over things. In Noise, if you remember, we just had control over pace. Here we have control over pace, stability, and that's kind of like the flow. I mean, he's probably already going to pick up on my hesitation, so we'll see. Similarity to the like original voice and sample, and then style exaggeration. I'll show you that one in a minute. It gets a little out of control, I think, to be honest. So let's give it a go. Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. And now anything I create with this voice is going to have hesitation in it because of that sample I gave it. But it's almost interesting that it associated that as like maybe my my voice personality.
Yeah.
So we do have control over speed. We can go a little bit faster. Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. I still hear myself in it. I think maybe it's a little bit less of like an identical replica of my voice to me.
I think if Noise did a better job just on replicating. Can you pull stability way down? I'm really interested in hearing what that does.
Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. So it's funny because my understanding of it is just how much it holds to that original sample. I think what it came out with there in that case sounded like a better voice for audio, but much less like me.
Yeah, it sounded like David Pierce from the Verge cast, if you ever listen to the Verge cast, especially at the end.
I mean, I sounded much more like a professional podcaster than I clearly am. Similarity is how much it holds to it. Style exaggeration is pretty interesting. I believe it was this setting that gave me lots of ums and ahs.
Oh, interesting.
Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. And that one, like, it can get pretty out of hand, but it definitely makes it feel, I mean, we'd have to use a little bit of style exaggeration for our AI produced episode to make it sound like you and I were actually having that conversation, because there are those natural like kind of hesitations and ums and ahs and things like that.
Okay, speed in the middle, stability all the way down, similarity all the way down, style exaggeration all the way up. Let's see.
It's going to be Taylor Swift. Welcome to the Shift AI show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today. I just sound condescending, I think. I sound like I think I'm too smart. No, that wasn't. I mean, that was like fairly believable.
Yeah, it sounded like somebody just winging it. That's what it sounded like.
You mean like it sounded like our show?
Yeah, exactly. I've been conscious about trying to pull out my ums so much, and hearing that thing like, okay, it's style. When it happens, it's just style exaggeration. That's all it is.
Yeah. A lot of ums and ahs. Oh, you mean style exaggeration?
Yeah. Come on, just crank the slider up.
I want to show you as well their V3, where I think it honestly produces like a more quality output, but I think sounded a lot less like me. You also have far less control, but we'll
Mm.
play with this in a second. I'll start with just in the middle of stability is natural. Um,
Welcome to the Shift AI Show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today.
again, I said this earlier. I think it sounded much less like me,
Mhm.
but I do get like the quality of the voice. We'll go down to the creative end and see what it gives us.
Welcome to the Shift AI Show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today.
I think that was way better.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
too.
just like more variance. And maybe it's just because we're talking about a one sentence or a two sentence stinger, you know? And if you were listening to an audiobook, maybe you wouldn't want that same level of
Constant
yeah.
variety. Yeah, yeah. And I think, but that's an important point. Is like I do think one of the areas where ElevenLabs wins here. I think noise got. If you care about cloning your own voice, I feel like noise was closer.
Yeah.
And you had the ability to insert, emotion at different points. So you have a little bit of control over some of that variance, maybe. Although, as you heard, angry was angry. I do think where ElevenLabs wins is maybe like the breadth of use. Like with these controls, you're really able to make it sound very conversational, or you can make it sound really polished, like a professional voiceover artist. I mean, something that I will never be. So I do think that there's like maybe some more advanced control over some of it. I want to try robust here as well.
Well, it also I was just Googling a little, and it looks like you can use the
Welcome to
same
the
sort of markup in the script. So, like, if you put
Mm.
in sighs or whispers or laughs
Ah,
in, square brackets, it'll input that.
interesting. All right. So robust
Shift AI Show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today.
All right. How about this is why we do this, Chris. You just taught me something.
Welcome to the Shift AI Show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use to grow your business today.
That was awesome.
Yeah, man, that would go crazy on TikTok with some
Right.
picture of, like, slicing fruit or something, or some video of slicing fruit.
I think we did some AJ content similar to that.
Welcome to the Shift AI Show.
Oh, wait, we got to regenerate. I want to hear excited.
Welcome to the Shift AI Show, the only show where two real humans translate all of the noisy AI releases into practical tools you can use.
So, verdict. You have to go out and create a 1-hour course, but you've got about 5 minutes to produce the voiceover. Which one are you going to use?
So I'm going to show my bias here, not being an expert user of this. I would
Mhm.
probably use ElevenLabs just because that's what I hear everybody talk about. And just a quick, like, simple Google search gave me all sorts of markup language for
Mhm.
11. Now, I just am not super familiar with noise. So because it's a known quantity, because it's huge, like they do incredible work for really big companies,
Mhm.
or really big companies use them, and it's really easy to learn about them.
Mhm.
I think I'd go with ElevenLabs. Um,
But you kind of feel like you're going to have better access to more advanced features as they come too, right?
yeah, and I also think that, like, if I have to ask Claude or um, ChatGPT or something to help me in ElevenLabs, so many people are using it, writing so much about it and creating so much
Mhm.
content about it that I think there might be more education for the models to pull from to help me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think my choice is the same. I really liked the result in terms of it sounding like me. better in noise. I really did. It's funny because you kind of flipped the script for me here, where the ability to insert this like direction and emotive markup in ElevenLabs flipped a lot of that for me, because suddenly my view on noise was, it's really cool that I can insert this stuff, and suddenly I'm sitting here going, but there's only like 8 options or 12 options, and suddenly it feels really limited compared to the ability to just add whatever I want here. Now, probably deserves further investigation. You know, there may be more that we can do with noise as well, but I think um, for a similar reason with ElevenLabs, I have more control over the type of output.
Yeah.
If I were to be using this, like, I'm probably using this for short ads. I'm probably using it for long courses. I might be using it for like podcast stuff. And I'm going to want the ability to use different intonation and cadence and styles. You know, if I'm reading a 15-second ad, I'm going to have a different tone than if I'm, you know, doing a podcast. And I think with ElevenLabs, I was much more easy. I could much more easily stretch my voice in that way. All right, so that's cool. But what do people do with this? Like, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about, you know, you can narrate courses or create podcasts, but like, how would you, I mean, we don't have to like get crazy into it. Like, if you were to sign off right now and you have like a passion project, where are you using it first?
So this shows my biases, because Aweber is an email marketing and newsletter platform, and I write a bunch of newsletters. The thing that I need to do, this is my personal goal for this week, is turn my newsletters into a podcast with this. I have the script. All I need is it to be read in my voice. And that seems like a no-brainer if you're writing regular content where your audience is interested in the content. Like, do you write about tips on health, getting fit, or running your first 5K, or finding real estate in your city or town? Like, those could go from being a newsletter that, you know, you write on your phone when you're trying to share your expertise, to also be a podcast that sounds like you, the actual person, telling people what you wrote them.
Yeah, and I love that idea, because we talk about it nonstop. We over at Aweber, we actually had an event several weeks ago where we had a guest speaker, this incredible content coach and author, Paula Rizzo, came on, and she was talking about how to repurpose and extend your content. People, like, multiple reasons, like what you just used as an example. Some people consume content differently. You know, I like to read books. My wife likes to put them on audiobook and take a walk. You know, like, so talking about repurposing your newsletter, you're making it more accessible to a larger audience. You're also extending its reach. You're taking like, how do you take a single thing and turn it into 10 pieces of content? This is a pretty incredible application of that, I think. Yeah, I love that. Anything else on artificial voices versus human voices? how to make more of you?
I mean, honestly, man, I think the newsletter to podcast thing that's my homework for the rest of the week. I just need to do that, because I'm sure it's going to be really straightforward and easy. This has been really fun for me, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to clone my voice. I'm going to deal with the fact that I might not love my voice the most.
I have to listen to it.
but I'll tweak it. I'll play with it, and I'll give it my newsletters as scripts and pump out a dozen episodes of my first podcast, because I have these scripts going back for dozens of editions.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And share it on an upcoming episode. We'll on that note too, I have 2 quick callbacks.